Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today we're discussing a Japanese domestic market limited edition from the Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra collection. This is sometimes known as the Marui edition. Marui being the department store that retailed this version. It comes with a full set, including the original warranty card stamped in kanji with a Japanese country code. So this is the real deal. If you're interested in a rarely seen Japanese domestic market Omega watch, this is not only one of the most distinctive, but it is also an extraordinary example of one that made it all the way to the States with the entire box and paper set with it. So this example sold in 2011 in steel, just over 39 millimeters in diameter. I measured about 39.5. It's 11.2 millimeters thick and 47 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip and 50.5 from end link to end link with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Omega has a long history of building specials for the Japanese domestic market and for Japanese market retailers. So this watch right here, featuring a distinctively red Japanese rising sun inspired dial, is also incredibly thin, as we're talking about caliber 2500 here. The 2500s were a lot thinner than the 8500s and the 8900s. So this watch will easily slide underneath the cuff. On my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, you can see that it's still inboard of the edge. So I'd say this watch is fine for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. It wears nicely, comfortably, thin in a way current Omega coaxials are not. The bracelet is a lovely piece in satin finish for a muted look. You can see it tapers down from the end link, and then we have here removable links fixed by pins and sleeves. There's also an intermediate size link in there so you can fine-tune the fit. And there are quite a few removable links, so you will be able to size this precisely. It features the sliding clasp internal that Omega used during the 2000s and the 90s to make certain bracelets easier to put on the wrist without pinching. And then there is a locking system that I will demonstrate here that allows it all to grip, and you can see when it's on the wrist it is very thin indeed. There's also a single trigger that releases all of it. So this sliding mechanism makes it very easy to fit to the wrist without pinching. Taking a look at the case, lyre-style lugs, we know them well, and we have on Omegas since the early 60s. An outward bevel that's polished all the way across, and then these inward bevels that are satinated. We have here a screw-down crown and a bezel with a little vertical lip and then a conical profile. The dial is a matte red and a glorious match of matte red with rhodium-plated steel hands, indices, Omega logo, and marquee. We've got the broad arrow minutes hand, like you would have on a vintage Seamaster. The Aqua Terras in the early 2000s succeeded the traditional Omega Seamaster 120 line, which was always sort of a less sporting but still quite resilient Seamaster. Not a rotating bezel dive watch, but an all-arounder, a water-resistant men's watch that would be equally welcome in vigorous activity and formal environments. So this watch, with its luminescent steel case, automatic winding, and 150-meter water resistance, it definitely lives up to that. And you could see that there is no shortage of lume on this dial, including all three hands, which I always enjoy. And then the watch has a quick set and a hacking seconds function, so you can set it precisely. It is a coaxial chronometer, 5-position adjusted, COSC certified, so the movement would have been certified by the COSC as an exceptional timekeeper. It features the George Daniels coaxial escapement, which is a double impulse system, one impulse direct, one indirect, but both of them tangential friction rather than the sliding friction of a Swiss lever. Invented in 1974, it was sold to Omega in the 90s and industrialized by them for the first time in 1999 with the assistance of Daniels, and this is a 2500C. So the A and the B have a reputation for being basically development movements that needed a lot of upgrades to be made durable. Well, with the C, the Charlie that you have here, it became a much more everyday movement. This is where you can pretty much put the fragility and reliability concerns about the early 2500s to rest, as this incorporates all of the bridge and escapement changes of the first two generations, but also the new beat rate of 25,200 vibrations per hour, which works better with the coaxial. 27 joules, automatic winding, 48-hour power reserve, free sprung for durability, and of course it has the coax in there. You can't quite see it, but it's a very sophisticated automatic winding watch with a escapement that is probably still the most sophisticated you can buy for under $50,000. Now, of course, this movement is an adaptation of the ETA 2892A2, an adaptation that's been coaxialized, and in this iteration here in its third generation, you can see, though it's a machine-finished movement and wasn't originally intended for display casebacks, it actually looks pretty good. It's handsome, and the machine-applied finishing is appropriate and attractive. So lots to love here. If you love Omega, if you love independent watchmaking and the legend of George Daniels, if you've traveled to Japan, you're from Japan, or you have an ambition to maybe someday go there, this is a cool piece and a watch you will rarely see in the West. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.